Just a little quick video just to show you around using the auto track of myself as I walked around and showed all the different cameras and the positions. So it's just about done here, about 30 seconds left. So I'll go ahead and stop it now and bring myself back. So sorry about that, folks. A little audio issue here. It always happens when you don't test it first. My fault. My goal for today is to present to you, and I got to remember to look at the camera because normally I'm looking at the keyboard, so that's my fault. Do you are you part of an organization or a congregation that doesn't have an organist or someone who plays music? There are a few of us out here. I am a part of Good Shepherd here, 300 member congregation, and for the past almost 12 years now, I've been called the organeer. I am not trained how to play the keys yet. I'm working on it. But a few years ago, I was asked to, get the organ connected up with a piece of software so that we could at least play hymns on it. So when our organist retired, that we'd just seamlessly fall right in and play the same hymns we've always sang all the time. Well, after that, you volunteered just once. 12 years later, you're still doing it. What I have determined, what I found out is that we sing hymns that are not always in a published hymnal or in a different published hymnal that is not in this particular software. So I had to come up with a way to take sheet music from any source like this, multiple different pages here. And this is the sheet music of the piece that I'm going to show you today. And it's called We Gather Together, or any hymnal. This is our new one. There is not an electronic version of this one as of this speak. There never will be due to copyright issues. My version as the organeer comes in a great big old book, and the pages are huge. How do I get this to come out on the organ or piano? What I'm going to show you today is how we do it on a piano. And let me just bring that up here real quick. And we'll switch it in here. So this little software is called Smart Score 64 Pro. It's from a company called Musitek. And it is available to individuals and to organizations, children, schools, and churches. It's a one-time purchase license. That's pretty much good forever. And the workflow process is quite intensive if you learn it. If you spend enough time with it, you can go through it. But what I'm going to show you today is just something real simple. How we take this, what I showed you on the paperwork there. How do I get that to play on our piano here in house? I am remotely connected to our computer on our piano, which is across the room here, so that I can do this all from the desktop. So the very first thing we do is I already have a PDF of what I scanned in of that document I showed you in PDF form. And I'm going to go ahead and open that up in this software here. And it's going to start converting it. It's already converted it into a TIF file, which is what the software uses to recognize all the notes and all the symbols on that graph paper, as you can see, show here. So this is the actual picture of those different pages. Very nice and clear. As long as you have a good scan of it, pulling it right off of PDF is really simple. And then we're going to click this little button here, which is software is going to interpret all those notes and dynamics and everything and create a playable MIDI file out of it. So we'll start by scanning here. Do I want to save the connections? Yes, I do. So that document had 6 pages here. We're going to begin recognition on all of them with various options here. If you can suppress lyrics, you can suppress the chord symbols. I'm going to click that one. And we'll start the recognition process. Basically OCR, character recognition, and it's going to play it back in what's called a just a second here. We'll get it going here. It does each page separately. And it comes up with a smart score file. Number of systems found, 29. The system is one of these treble and bass clef. And there's 2 parts and 29 systems. And we'll go ahead and open up the smart score file. We're going to basically use the defaults here and unify the key signatures based on the topmost staff. So I'll RAF from the beginning. And now we're going to save it as an ENF file. It's a enhanced notation file is what ENF stands for. Sorry about that. I couldn't think about it for a minute. So basically right now, this is almost ready to play. And what you see it on the top section here is the original. And this is everything that got recognized and characterized. You notice there are some mistakes in here. Not a problem. I'm going to go through this and show you how we fix them. But first thing we do is click the old play button over here, and you should hear it. And I do have copyright permission to use this file today. I gained that specially. So you notice that plays kind of slow. There's a few mistakes in it here and there. I got to go through and fix these individually. This software, I can actually write music scores with it if I had the time. So we look at this note right here. We've got a problem here of some kind. Wonder what it is. Oh, I think I do. If I blow this up a little bit, you'll notice this note right here has a dot on it. This one does not. So with my keyboard shortcuts, I'll place a dot on top of this note. There, turn it clear. The sections there where it's colored out like that are where timing mistakes, or not the right number of notes per staff. Here's another one. Same thing. What do you suppose the problem is here? You notice there's a dot on this note, which basically is it's a note and a half, dotted quarter note. There's one on this one, but there's not one on this bottom one here. So I'm going to get rid of one of them. So that's basically going to get rid of the dot there. Nope, that didn't do it. Did the wrong one. Nope, that didn't do it. What seems to be the problem here? Well, I need to move one of these so I can see what the problem is. There we go. And now I need to put that note back here in the same spot. Well, you can play around with the notes like that. I don't know, we've cleared that one up. And I'll go through this whole section here and do this. This one I actually have to write a couple of notes for. So we need a quarter note, and we need it to go right there. And I did it the wrong way. And if you look up here, there's supposed to be a dot on that also. It's all a measure of note counts in the measure. And we're also missing an eighth note down here. So we'll draw one of these and connect it up right here. There we go. We'll just scroll through it real quick here. I see a mistake here I got to fix. That should be almost all of them here. Let's see what I've got going on here. I don't know what the problem is. We'll have to play through it there and go for that. So now we're pretty close here. It should play good. So let's say that you have heard this tune before, but you don't know quite how it's supposed to sound. I'm going to open a different file here and compare side by side here. And that's going to be this one right there. So you notice it looks almost identical. This one plays correctly. So this is what this tune is supposed to sound like. So obviously it's much faster. So I got to go up here and see what the tempo is on this one. I could guess at it on this one, but I would eventually get there. So I just go set the tempo of what it's supposed to be. And now it'll play correctly. Now you'll notice here, if I scroll up here, this text up here did not transfer right. That's the last thing I fixed, so I can tell the difference between this one and this one I have already had fixed. So let me just play through this real quick here, and we'll see if we got some of these issues fixed. I see a problem I have to fix already. So it takes time in the MIDI file for the software to tell the piano which note to play. This is not an audio recording, by the way. This is actually commands that tell the piano which notes to play, how long to play them for, and how loud to play them for. So my particular piano here, it lags a little bit from that. So I have to build in a little bit of timing error in this first measure to get it to accept the file and then start playing at the same time. And I got a little bit of a trick here. I do that kind of like this here. I'll add a rest in there before that. Now we have a timing issue, but that's okay. I can fix that. We can just, as written, it'll override that. And then she turns white again. So now when I play it, it'll be correct. So repeat. We already repeated once. And as we go through this, you can kind of see how it plays back. There's different sections here that are kind of neat. I'm not going to play through the whole thing for you. I'm just going to play a certain section here for you. For instance, this set of notes right here. And these are all editable. So I can add sections in, delete sections as I need to. Primarily, we use this to run the piano for choir music. And I've been doing that for almost over 10 years now. There's a key change coming up here. So what we're going to do is we're going to play this part. So as we go along, now part of my presentation here, I've obviously practiced this a few times, and I've done many of these hymns. So I'm pretty good at, as Richard was saying, muscle memory. A lot of these little shortcuts in keyboard, I can whip one of these out in about 5 minutes, usually. Oh, we have another mistake here. I just now caught this. Let's see what the deal is there. We got a signal there. We got to get rid of that. I basically got to go through is I make sure these two match. So we're going to get rid of that. We don't need that. And I got to figure out what the problem here is. Let's see what it sounds like if we just play this section right here. Okay. Not quite sure what the problem is. It sounds okay, so we're going to leave it alone for now. We got another key change coming up here. You notice the software recognize this key change coming up to the different key. And I have a problem here. I know what the problem here is. Put a dot in there. That's probably what the problem back here was. Put a dot in there somewhere. I'm not quite sure on that one. It plays okay, so I can go all the way through this whole piece like this. Now here, you look up here, I have some notes missing here. That's not correct. So you got to get rid of this. That changes it back white, but now we got to add that note back in. And there's 3 of them here. Ding. Got to make it visible. And then we're going to duplicate them. And I put it in the wrong spot. Do you see that? There you go. I can move them around. So now that part will play correctly now. As we go all the way to the end here. And the ending is kind of neat here. So I'm just going to play the ending here real quick. It's the end of the song. Kind of a neat, it's kind of a neat one there. So now that we've got all the notes playing correctly, except for that one little section, which I'm not going to worry about because it seems to play okay. Now we can go up here. Go into our note editor here, and we're going to select this. And we'll fix this. And this is supposed to say joyfully. And this is supposed to say, this is the arranger. And then once I get it done, I can grab it, move it. Now it makes it all look safe. So if we were to go all the way back to the beginning of this, I still have a little minor timing problem. If you notice it kind of faulted there. I'm not going to take the time to do that, but there are many different files that I can play. Let's see here. Let me show you one that I play for our choir. Let's see here. And this is one our choir will sing right along with. And I'm actually running the piano for the choir. So you kind of get the idea. So we can, the biggest part of this software that I use is the playback. So this is how we play back. You have to have an interface with your device and the software. Since I have a MIDI piano, it's a Yamaha Clavinova. I happen to use a little USB dongle on it called a USB Uno MIDI interface. It's got one channel, one connection. So it is full duplex. I can also play on the piano and record into the software. I don't use that much because that's quite involved, but I can also use this for organ pieces. I had the same setup for my organ sitting next to me here. And this has taken quite a few years to figure that out. This is actually the desktop on my organ laptop over here. This is a hymn that is in our new hymnal that plays on the piano. Very well known hymn. So that sounds. Just to show you what an organ piece sounds like, we'll go into this one's a piece I'm still working on. It's not quite done yet. Now that's playing an organ piece on the piano. Organ piece on the piano. I do have an organ sitting here next to me. So I can interchange them. So for the past few years, if you don't, I've been able to provide music for our worship services and our choral presentations and for other features. This is one way I can give back to my congregation and one of my spiritual gifts that I can share with other people around the world in our live stream. As far as I think I've had all the way out to Japan and Egypt. So pretty much that's kind of the end of my presentation.